A good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Lead from the back and let others believe they are in front. The greatest glory in living, not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. It always seems impossible until it's done. Real leaders must be ready to sacrifice all for the freedom of their people. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. There is no passion to be found playing small in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. Do not judge me by my successes, judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. I am not a saint, unless you think of a saint as a sinner who keeps on trying. To be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another. I dream of an Africa which is in peace with itself. When people are determined, they can overcome anything. I like friends who have independent minds because they tend to make you see problems from all angles. Resentment is like drinking poison, and then hoping it will kill your enemies. I stand here before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of you, the people. Courageous people do not fear forgiving, for the sake of peace. It is in your hands to create a better world for all who live in it. Man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden, but never extinguished. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin, or his background, or his religion. People must learn to hate. We can change the world and make it a better place. It is in your hands to make a difference. I detest racialism because I regard it as a barbaric thing, whether it comes from a black man or a white man. Freedom would be meaningless without security in the home and in the streets. The oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. Our human compassion binds us the one to the other, not in pity or patronizingly, but as human beings who have learnt how to turn our common suffering into hope for the future. To deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. A good leader can engage in a debate frankly and thoroughly, knowing that at the end he and the other side must be closer, and thus emerge stronger. You don't have that idea when you are arrogant, superficial, and uninformed. Our march to freedom is irreversible. We must not allow fear to stand in our way. I am fundamentally an optimist, whether that comes from nature or nurture, I cannot say. Part of being optimistic is keeping one's head pointed toward the sun, one's feet moving forward. A leader is like a shepherd. He stays behind the flock, letting the most nimble go out ahead, whereupon the others follow, not realizing that all along they are being directed from behind. Respect for authority is an element of civilization. There can be no greater gift than that of giving one's time and energy to help others without expecting anything in return. The task of the leader is to get his people from where they are to where they have not been. We must use time wisely and forever realize that the time is always ripe to do right. In the end, reconciliation is a spiritual process. which requires more than just a legal framework. It has to happen in the hearts and minds of people. If you want to make peace with your enemy, you have to work with your enemy. Then he becomes your partner. Difficulties break some men but make others. No axe is sharp enough to cut the soul of a sinner who keeps on trying, one armed with the hope that he will rise even in the end. The world remains beset by so much human suffering, poverty, and deprivation. It is in your hands to make a difference. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society, in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. Do not look the other way. Do not hesitate. Recognize that the world is hungry for action, not words. Act with courage and vision. I was not a messiah, but an ordinary man who had become a leader because of extraordinary circumstances. To deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. The greatest glory in living, not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. When a man has done what he considers to be his duty to his people and his country, he can rest in peace. I had no specific belief except that our cause was very strong. It was winning more and more support. I dream of the realization of the unity of Africa, whereby its leaders combine in their efforts to solve the problems of this continent. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Sometimes it falls upon a generation to be great. You can be that great generation. Let your greatness blossom. These quotes reflect Nelson Mandela's wisdom, leadership, and commitment to justice, equality, and peace.